Off the turn, they're 3 wide.
Battle for the lead as Hickok gets out of shape.
Bottom, shot, 3 wide.
He takes the lead back. Dynamite Racing.
It is opening day here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, the day we have been waiting for since Championship Night 2023, 224 days ago. Kyle Rickey here in the pits as we get set for day number 1 of this NAPA Auto Parts Spring Sizzler weekend. A full complement of racing. The American-Canadian Tour is back for the first time in more than 3 decades to run 75 laps later tonight. The limited late models are here, the street stocks, and of course those twin 40-lap qualifying events for tomorrow's NAPA Auto Parts Spring Sizzler, the NAPA Auto Parts Duel qualifying races. And we're going to start our trip around the pits with one of the winners from those events from a year ago.
Kyle, the last time we saw the 16 car on track, it won the NAPA Fall Final, and Ron Silk, who's done a lot here at Stafford, winning an Open Modified, a Tour Modified, an SK Modified, still looking for that first Sizzler win. But I know you don't want to spill all your secrets. When it comes to the duels, how much do you have to pace yourself in that 40-lap race?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, you have to be cautiously aggressive. You got to get to the end and not wear your tires out. You know, between an 8-lap heat race and a 40-lap duel, you're getting close to the end of what these tires can do. So, you know, I'd be happy to get out and lead early and kind of set my own pace, but we'll see how the heat race goes first.
How important is the heat race?
I think it's pretty important. I got a reasonable draw. I think I drew 16 out of 100 in the hat, so shouldn't be starting too deep in the field. I think, you know, if you were starting in last in your heat race, that could make things tough for you. But luckily, I don't think we're going to be in that position.
Well, we know the 16 will be one to watch this entire weekend. So we'll keep it in the Open Modified pits where Kyle Rickey's with another Spring Sizzler contender.
In Bonza, while Ron won one of the NAPA Auto Parts Duel qualifying races a year ago, Eric Goodale not as fortunate and had to go through the last chance qualifier to make last year's NAPA Auto Parts Spring Sizzler. What did you learn about this format a year ago and having to manage your equipment over the course of 2 days to be good tail end of the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a very good car last year, so I think I have to do a better job at speaking up of what I'm looking for in the car, because we struggled through practice, through the qualifying races, and, you know, fortunately we had a provisional. I mean, we would have qualified in the last chance race anyway, but it was a long weekend. I hope that I go to bed tonight knowing that my spot is secured in the race, so we don't have to come back tomorrow and, you know, figure out what we're doing. But overall, I mean, the way we ended last year and the way we started this year, we got plenty of speed in our GAF number 58 here, so I'm hoping to start off good here today.
Best of luck to you here this weekend.
Thank you.
Back to Bonza Tufa now with another one of our top competitors.
Mike Christopher Jr. makes his second appearance in the Spring Sizzler, Kyle, and it's a different car compared to what you ran last year. Why don't you tell us about this car and the team you're working with this season?
Yeah, the deal kind of came together kind of last minute. I'd say like a month or so before the Sizzler, well, the original one. Put a deal together through my dad, Rob Fuller, and Tony's Performance Engines to you know, get a ride for the Sizzler. And Rob built a new car and put it all together. We ran some test sessions, and it's been good, and just ready to get after it. Hopefully, you know, be up front with this.
How do you approach the duels 40 laps? Can you go hard the whole way, or do you feel like you have to pace it a bit?
You know, that's something I figured out in the last race. Compared to the pace that we usually run in the open 80s, I think the pace in the 40-lap duels are a lot faster. It seems like people just are ready to go at the jump, so it's kind of like an SK race. And you know, that's right in my wheelhouse. So I'll beat the hell out of it for as long as I could, and hopefully it doesn't give up. And you know, learning off the duel last year is probably be the same way. So I think my duel, the first one last year, had some cautions, and the second duel didn't. Kind of like Daytona, you know. So whether I'm in the first one or the second one, we'll just have to play it by ear. But it's usually one has yellows and one doesn't. So that changes your strategy too on how much you can pace yourself versus not, with yellows and restarts and whatnot. So, yeah, the duels are exciting. I got to read into the rules again on how it sets you up. I'm pretty sure it's just straight up. Yeah, so you got to finish up front.
That's Mike Christopher Jr. looking for one of the biggest wins yet. He's had a lot of big ones already, trying to take home the Spring Sizzler, but first, he's got to get through the duels. Now we're going to go to the American Canadian Tour, where Kyle Rickey is with our defending champion.
Bonza, and that champion from a year ago is DJ Shaw. And DJ, your dad actually won here, Dale, 21 years ago. What would it mean for you to win here at Stafford Motor Speedway all these years later?
It'd be pretty special. I've had a handful of races here and just never sealed the deal and never really had much luck. I got second to Ted the first pass race they had here, and after that there's nothing to write home about, so hopefully we can turn that around. You think the tricks will be to surviving 75 laps here later tonight under the lights? Definitely. I think you're going to have a car that stays underneath you. It's going to come down to the long run speed and just corner exit, I think, is going to be the key, and hopefully I know enough about the cars that I can keep a guy like Woody under control and don't get shown up at his home track or something.
Best of luck here tonight.
Thank you.
That's DJ Shaw, last year's champion here on the American Canadian Tour. Let's hear now from a driver familiar to Stafford Motor Speedway fans, but a rookie on the tour this season.
Kyle, Andrew Moeller returns to Stafford, but in a different car. He's competing in the American Canadian Tour full-time for 2023. So, Andrew, how's the car been this year? How different is it compared to the races that you've had here at Stafford in the past?
Yeah, it's definitely different. We actually tested here a few weeks ago. It's definitely great to be back here at Stafford for sure. Totally a lot different than the late models that run here weekly. Just different tires, different motors. Obviously the cars that run here are a little bit faster, but not as great of a tire. So just totally different. But it's a lot of fun for sure. I mean, these guys are some of the best in the Northeast in the country. So to be able to race with them, hang with them is pretty cool for sure. And looking forward to this season.
How do you approach 75 laps with no change of tires?
It's going to be different for sure, but I will say this is definitely more of a shorter race than we're used to. We usually run 150 laps, 100 laps, so it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be quick, but it's definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be a brawl for sure.
Oh, brawl. You heard it from Andrew Moeller himself, the Black 31 ready to compete for a good finish, maybe even victory lane. Now we're going to go to the limited late models where Kyle Rickey standing by with our defending, or I shouldn't say defending, but our Rookie of the Year from last season.
And Bonzer, we're with one of the limited late model drivers that caught a bit of fire at the end of last year. Your rookie season, won 2 of the last 6 races. What was the big takeaway from your first season a year ago that you can bring into your sophomore campaign?
Just being patient, being in the right place at the right time is a big help. Just hitting the marks all the time, knowing where to be, being consistent, that's always a big help. Getting there at the end is where it matters, not getting caught up in stupid wrecks and just being there.
And Kevin Cormier visited victory lane twice in the last month and a half of 2022. Looking to put it back in victory lane here on Napa Spring Sizzler Weekend to start 2023. Now let's hear from one of the street stock title contenders with Bonza Tufa.
Kyle, Travis Downey is poised for a pretty good year after breaking out with 3 victories last season. Travis, you were here at open practice a couple weeks ago. How was the car? How did it drive? What'd you take out of it?
Oh, we just tried to figure out what was going on. See the way the track was going to be at the beginning of this season. After there were some changes with the safer barrier and obviously the new bleachers don't really make a difference. I thought the safer barrier might be out on the track a little more, but it's where it used to be. So I think it'll be good. We were a little bit tight. I just think that's just the way that the track was for the day. Took it as a learning curve, shook down the car, took it home, didn't have any leaks, no problems, and we're back here again and hopefully looking to win the Spring Sizzler.
As you can tell, the wind has picked up significantly all of a sudden, but that's Stafford for you. It's time to go racing, though. The American Canadian Tour and the Napa Auto Parts dual qualifying races headline tonight with Kyle Rickey and Ben Dodge on the call.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the greatest race in the history of spring. It's taken some unique and special twists and turns for 2023. Mother Nature zapped us on the opening practice session and the opening day. But today, under beautiful weather conditions, we're ready to present a race with a whole different combination of flair. The ACT cars, as we proudly welcome the great state of Vermont and all of those teams that are represented well in the northern region of the country as part of Chris Michaud's organization. And that's just the beginning. Besides all of that, there are 34 of those ACT cars assembled in the paddock area, but there are 40-plus open tour type modifieds assembled. The names are the top names in the racing business. Now, Kyle Rickey is alongside, and Kyle, we have seen it in the past. Competitors that come here to Stafford that instantly adjust to this very unique half mile, and we've seen other competitors that will struggle at times. But for 2023, a look at the charts, we see some different names that have already arose to timing and scoring.
Yeah, there's been some quick teams in the pit area earlier today. Drivers like Woody Pitcat and Matt Hirschman, drivers that we expect to be toward the front of the field were Mike Christopher Jr. with a new combination, Keith Rocco as well. You mentioned the American-Canadian Tour, first time here since 1985. Robbie Crouch won on that afternoon, a six-time ACT champion. They have a full field of cars, and a lot of our regular late model competitors are going to be part of that field here later tonight for 75 laps. In fact, their heat race is going to roll off here in just a couple of moments from now.
It certainly is. And, of course, joining us is the voice of the ACT Series. That, of course, is Aaron Maynard, who will be on the mic here for the presentation of that event. We look down a sneak preview of what's in store for the Open Modifieds and the duels, and it's so important. You saw the interviews of Michael Christopher Jr. and other competitors like Ronnie Silk, who is hot on the Wheel and Modified Tour as well, their input, and of course the lineups are going to be very interesting and very crucial. You will see for the Open Modified division there will be 5 qualifying rounds, and some of the side stories of the events will be Ed Flemke Jr., who's coming out of retirement for this particular event in the Hummel's Hot Dog number 11. Why is this event so important to him? Well, Kyle Rickey, we know the story. Dad's done it here and won the greatest race in the history of spring. But for Eddie Flemke Jr., he is a huge factor and wants this very, very bad. This is his, well, we'll call it his coronation feature event to be held if he makes the lineup. And it's not going to be easy to do that. However, he's very fortunate that he has a good starting spot in our 5th qualifying heat.
Yeah, that's going to be later tonight. I believe Eddie has been a part of 27
that's
of these
correct.
NAPA Spring Sizzlers over the years, and still looking for that first checkered flag, something his dad did many years ago.
Yes, and he is an amazing fabricator who was partners with the legendary Reggie Ruggiero, a former winner of this particular race, now calls his home the South, and he competes as an individual behind the scenes in Cup competition. So there's a lot of different side stories that we'll be looking at throughout this evening and throughout this afternoon. If you're just joining us here for the very first time and you've never been to Stafford Speedway, we welcome you on behalf of the entire Root family. And you see our logo on the backstretch. It says, "Welcome to the show." And when we say welcome, we mean it in fine style. Check out the brand new double hook area, which has the outside area which you can view the competitions, have your adult beverages, sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation as well. Well, coming on to the racetrack, we've got the first of our qualifying rounds, and I'm going to be turning over my headset to the gentleman who just does an outstanding job for this great series, Aaron Maynard.
And while Aaron jumps on, of course, this division fresh off an event last week at Thunder Road. Jason Corliss picking up the race win, having to work for it after a mid-race incident, coming up through the field late to grab that win. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, they were at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Derek Luchacki picking up the win as heat race number 1 rolls out onto the Speedway, and we welcome Aaron to the broadcast booth here at Stafford for the first time. Hello, Aaron.
Thank you very much. It's my first time here at Stafford, as well as the American-Canadian Tour's first time here in 38 years. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for our heat race. Starting on the pole from Berlin, New Hampshire, car number 7. That is Cody LeBlanc, last year's Rookie of the Year on the American-Canadian Tour. And then welcome back to Stafford Motor Speedway for the American-Canadian Tour, and welcome back to the American-Canadian Tour for the 8-time ACT champion from Williston, Vermont, car number 45, Brian Hoare. First time back on the tour since winning at Thompson a handful of years ago. Tom Carey III, the Brookside ride. Car number 5 will start from the 3rd position. He opted not to go to Thunder Road as they lost a car earlier this season at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Starting to his outside will be Tom Fern in car number 92. The 27, welcome back to ACT competition, Rich Staskowski, former ACT competitor back in the early teens of the 2000 era. He actually bought a former Brian Hoare car. He's got that car on loan from the Dale Shaw Race Cars stable. Matt Lewinsky-Lowe in car number 17 is going to start next with Brooks Clark as they come off a turn 4, looking for the green flag, and they've got it. Green flag is out. Down to turn 1, side by side they go to the back straightaway. Cody LeBlanc on the inside of car number 7, and on the outside without missing a beat, it's Brian Hoare, the race lead in car number 45. As they head into turns 3 and 4, Hoare takes the lead. LeBlanc back to 2nd. Top 7 cars will qualify into the plus-minus handicap system used by the American Canadian Tour, setting the starting positions by a blind draw as the cars came through technical inspection. Driving away at the front, Brian Hoare. Tom Carey III in car number 5 around the inside, moves by Tom Fern in the 92, and with him comes Jimmy Renfrew Jr. in the 00. Renfrew in the 00, full-time competitor on the American Canadian Tour, multi-time winner in ACT competition, also has a couple of Pro Stock wins. Looking for his first win here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Rich Staskowski in car number 27 moves himself into the 5th position, and then Matt Lewinsky-Lowe moves into the next position in that number 17 car. 7 cars will qualify. Top 7 advance. Everybody else is going to go to the tail of the field. There's like a big pool of drivers. The top 7, so we'll have 21 cars entered into the pool of drivers who will make up the first 21 positions. The car that passes the most cars and finishes in a qualified position will start on the pole. These races have been added 2 laps to the end of the field, so these will be 10-lap qualifying heat races as opposed to the originally scheduled 8, because they have foregone the consolation round and the B features. They will start all of the 34 cars that are here. We have 5 laps complete and 5 laps to go for Brian Hoare. Hoare in the 45 looking to start his career over right where he left off, and that would be in Victory Lane. He won the first American Canadian Tour event at Thompson Speedway in the late model form, and then promptly retired at the completion of that event. And right now, first time here at Stafford, and he is showing the way. He has not skipped a beat at all, and he's driving away as Jimmy Renfrew Jr. is on the move in the 00. He's moved himself up into 2nd, slid by the 5 of Tom Carey III. Cody LeBlanc, the pole sitter, is back to 4th. 5th position, Rich Staskowski in car 27, trying to hold off Matt Lewinsky-Lowe in that number 17 as they make contact coming off a 4. Staskowski gets a piece of the wall coming down the front straightaway, and we have our first caution flag. Yellow flag is out here on lap number 5. So a tough break for Staskowski in car 27 as he and Matt Lewinsky-Lowe got together. Michael Bennett in that number 19 is going to inherit a qualifying position if he can hold on for a couple more laps. Jonathan Bouvret from Quebec, the former Serie ACT champion. That is the Canadian version of the American Canadian Tour. He's also a former champion of St. Eustache Speedway up in Quebec. And we'll take and direct our attention to the big screen. We've got a replay right in the middle of the infield. And you can see the 27 of Staskowski just got a little bit sideways coming off the 4th corner, bounced off the Matthew Lewinsky-Lowe automobile, and then up into the wall. A lot of damage on the right front corner of that number 27 car. That is a car that Gabe Brown ran last fall in the fall foliage race at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl. He ran that to a top 5 finish, and it's been sitting on jack stand since. Restart lineup is correct. Field will cross over into the columns of 2 as we get ready to go back to racing. 10-lap qualifying heat races. Top 7 go into the pool of drivers who will get the preferred starting positions. Everyone else will go to the tail of the field. Brian Hoare will be on the inside. Jimmy Renfrew Jr. will be on the outside. Row number 2 on the inside, the 5 Massachusetts. That's TC3 Tom Carey III. The Brookside ride. Brookside Equipment sponsoring a Triple Crown series of the Southern New England races. This one, the fall foliage race at the Waterford Speed Bowl, and green flag is out. third race, and that is the Spring Green taking place at Seekonk in a couple of weekends. Side by side through turns 1 and 2, and once again putting the power down off the second corner. It's Brian Hoare with the race lead down the back straightaway. Renfrew on the outside, Carey on the inside. 2 laps to go as the parallel bars go up in the air from our chief starter, Jason Lemoy. 2 laps to go for Brian Hoare. Tom Carey the third slides himself back into the runner-up position. Down low, it is Matt Lewinsky low in car number 17. Looking to move himself into third as Renfrew, not liking the way that 00 car is gripping the outside lane. Cody LeBlanc in car number 7, sitting in the 5th position. 6th is Bouvret as the white flag is out. Tom Fern trying to hang on to the final spot. One more time around for Brian Hoare in the 45. 45 car, Brian Hoare from Williston, Vermont, shows the way down the back straightaway. Tom Carey the third, all alone in the number 2 spot as Cody LeBlanc slides high off of turn 2. He gives up a qualified position and a couple more as the checkered flag is ready to fly off of the 4th corner from the outside pole to victory lane. Brian Hoare, your winner. Tom Carey the third in car number 5, Matt Lewinsky low, Jimmy Renfrew Jr., Jonathan Bouvret, Tom Fern, and Michael Bennett. And the 19 will be your 7 cars moving into the plus-minus pool. 2 more 10-lap heat races into the pit area for the American Canadian Tour as Brian Hoare will bring the field down pit road and into the pit area.
Brian Hoare, of course, running a full handful of events this year, has been since 2015. Hard to believe, since he has run full-time competitively across the Northeast. A 8-time ACT champion dating back to the early 90s. So glad to have Brian back with us here tonight and see if he can get back into victory lane here. 75 laps, their feature event later tonight for the American Canadian Tour. Heat race number 2 about to roll out onto the Speedway. Again, a big welcome to everyone for coming out here to the Stafford Motor Speedway. Picture perfect Friday evening to go racing to kick off the 51st NAPA Spring Sizzler Weekend.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Here they come, heat number 2. Coming out on the pole so far, this driver's got a perfect record in heat races. He won his heat race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and he won his heat race 1 week ago at Thunder Road, starting on the pole from Center Conway, New Hampshire. Car number 60, it is Gabe Brown, starting to his outside. That car was all torn up 1 week ago at Thunder Road. That's Quinny Welch in the 0 New Hampshire from Lancaster, New Hampshire. Our defending American Canadian Tour champion from Center Conway, New Hampshire, will take the 04 car from next on the grid. That is DJ Shawn. To his outside, former ACT champion. The number 97 from Hudson, New Hampshire is Joey Pohl. Brooks Clark in car number 68 is going to start from the 5th position. To his outside, Kim Huntress in car number 27. Adam Gray, a very familiar name here at the Stafford Speedway, will take the 97 from the 7th starting position. Into his outside, car number 5, it is a Thrillin' Dylan Maltz. Final full row on the inside, car number 31, Andrew Moeller. And to his outside, Brian Wall Jr. in car number 77. The driver that was in the top 5 of the speed charts in the first 2 practice sessions, the only 2 practice sessions today. Car number 67 is Jarrett Curtis. Once again, 10 laps, top 7 cars will advance to the plus-minus pool. Everyone else will have to tag in on the tail of the field. Gabe Brown looking to keep his perfect record for heat wins alive. Quinny Welch looking to rebound from a bad crash 1 week ago. Here they come down the main straightaway, and the green flag is out. Gabe Brown on the inside, jumps away by a car length into the first corner. DJ Shawn, the 04, follows him through as Joey Pohl makes a 3-wide move. Brooks Clark goes around to the back straightaway. Multiple cars spinning, and it looks like everyone's going to get away with no damage. Brooks Clark in the 68 got hard on the loud pedal coming off of turn number 2, and it broke around. The 5 of Dylan Maltz got on the binders in order to not drive into the Brooks Clark automobile. He went around, and it looks like nobody got a piece of anything. That was some heads-up driving by the stars of the American Canadian Tour. Unfortunately, 0 laps complete. We'll go back to a complete restart. The good news, though, for the number 5 of Dylan Maltz, he is very fast. Got a quick race car. The Mark Brackett-owned automobile. And Brooks Clark also has a quick car. He's one of the top stars at the nation's site of excitement, Barry's Thunder Road, running kind of an outlaw schedule in a 2023. And again, we'll take a look if you're joining us on Flow Racing, or if you can look at the Jumbotron in the middle of the infield. Joey Pohl made a 3-wide move. Brooks Clark tried to keep the car pinned down. Around went Clark. And then, as you can see, the 5 of Dylan Maltz hard on the binders. He goes around. Brian Wall Jr., he's a second-generation driver. he was able to snake his way by on the outside as well. Just kind of ran out of room coming up off the second corner over there. A little bit of a funnel effect as they were 3 wide. Everyone will be able to realign on the field, and we'll try this again. 0 laps have been complete, 10 laps to go. Scores are working over the restart lineup. Looks like they've got just about everyone back where they belong. And our chief starter, Jason Lemoy from Plattsburgh, New York, is going to show the field the cross flags. They'll move into the columns of 2. With the American Canadian Tour, the front row, the leader only has lane choice. Second place has to go where the leader does not, but third has to go to the inside of row 2, fourth to the outside. Only the front row, and the leader sets the tone, has lane choice. Again, 0 laps complete, 10 laps to go. Heat number 2 for the American Canadian Tour. 1 still to follow this one, and that'll set our starting lineup. And then we'll turn it back over to Kyle Rickey and Ben Dodge. They'll bring you the rest of the racing action here today. And then we'll come back and finish out the program with the 75-lap feature for the American Canadian Tour late models. As they come off of turn 4 down to the stripe, green flag is back in the air, and we are underway. And once again, Gabe Brown with a good start leads them into turn number 1. DJ Shaw on the 0-4 is going to go to second down low as Quinny Welch slides back to third. Make that 4th as Joey Pohl from Hudson, New Hampshire moves himself up the inside lane. Welch drives it deep on the outside into the 3rd corner, but it will not be enough as Pohl moves himself into the 3rd position. Back to 4th goes Welch in the 0. Side by side behind him, Cam Huntress in the 27. On the inside groove, on the outside, looks like it's Andrew Moeller in the 31. Moeller from deep in the field moving his way forward on the outside. Nope, that's Adam Gray up on the outside. Andrew Moeller is right behind him. 2 laps complete this time for Gabe Brown. Back in the pack, the 67 of Jarrett Curtis gets a piece of the wall coming down the front straightaway. And we are going to have a caution flag as there's debris all down the front straightaway. And the 67 of Jarrett Curtis torn up. Tough break for him. He was one of the quicker cars in the 2 practice sessions this afternoon. Of course, these drivers, most of them seeing the Stafford Motor Speedway for the first time, they have to learn the nuances of the racetrack, and every racetrack has its own nuances. That's the second time a driver's gotten loose coming up off of turn number 4. Found his way into the front straightaway wall. Scores will go to work on the restart lineup. Gabe Brown continues to show the way. He'll have a little bit different competitor to his outside. It'll be the defending champion of the American Canadian Tour, DJ Shaw from Center Conway, New Hampshire. And then Joey Pohl in car number 97 up to 3rd. Quinny Welch 4th. Really, that's a win for that 0 car just to be back here. He was on 2 wheels coming down the front straightaway at Thunder Road last Sunday afternoon, and it did not look good in terms of them making it here. But the Chad Sullivan-led crew had a never-say-die attitude. They put that car back together, and they got it here just in time. Jarrett Curtis, though, that crew is going to have to do some serious work to get that 67 car in the back together. Got the replay right now in the infield. And as you can see right there, he's just on the tail of the field, just got a little bit loose coming off of turn 4, tail slapped the wall. And that turned the right front corner into the wall and ended at least the heat race so far for Jarrett Curtis in car number 67. Of course, the starting lineups are set by a blind draw for the American Canadian Tour, and he'd drawn a high chip, which is most of the time not something you want, but when it's a plus-minus race, when the object is pass as many cars as you can and finish in a qualifying spot, that's kind of like a high chip is what you want. And he was slowly moving his way towards the front of the pack, but maybe got a little bit overconfident in how the car was handling coming off of the 4th corner, rolled the car back into the gas a little bit too early, and the crew will have to go to work to see if they can get that back together. Definitely some serious suspension damage on the right front corner of that 67 car. He's a driver that's graduated up from the street stock division at the Star Speedway in Epping, New Hampshire. Purchased an ACT late model a couple years ago. He's run a few races at Thunder Road, a few at White Mountain, a few at the Monadnock Speedway, and doing a little bit more ACT racing in 2023, and jumped at the opportunity to come to the Stafford Motor Speedway. It's not very many times a prestigious racetrack like this you get to go there with a tour for the first time, And there was a lot of drivers that were like, well, you know, Stafford, ACT, we have an ACT late model, we're going to be there. Tough break for him. We've got 8 laps to go here in this second qualifying heat race. Gabe Brown on the inside. It'll be DJ Shaw on the outside. Row number 2 on the inside from Hudson, New Hampshire. Car number 97 is Joey Pohl. Outside of him from Groveton, New Hampshire, it's Quinny Welch. Cam Huntress, the Camaro Heaven, car number 27, and Andrew Moeller is now up to the 6th position. Final qualifier right now, the 97, Adam Gray. Dylan Maltz, Brooks Clark will be the final row. And Brian Wallen, car number 77, also back there. He's currently sitting in the 8th position. Lights are down on the American Canadian Tour Ford Fusion pace car. It makes the hard left-hand turn into the infield, and we are ready to go. 2 laps complete, 8 laps to go. Down to the stripe, green flag is out. Gabe Brown once again up through the gearbox in a hurry, leads him into turn to number 1. 3 wide deeper in the field. It's Cam Huntress going around now in turn 2. Caution flag is out as the 27th of Cam Huntress going around in turn number 2. Let's see if Brian Wall in the 77, as he comes down the front straightaway, if he's able to keep that car off the wall. Doesn't look like there's any concrete dust on the side of that automobile. He may have dodged a second bullet. In this one, Andrew Moeller went around. Brooks Clark had the car locked down, trying to keep himself out of contact. And the 27 of Cam Huntress is able to drive away. He's a full-time competitor in 2023 with the American Canadian Tour. Another driver that's a product of the Star Speedway. Gabe Brown in the 60 and DJ Shaw in car number 04. Joey Pohl and Quinny Welch. And then there's a bit of a dispute right now as who is currently occupying that position as we take a look at the replay. Looks like a little bit of contact between the 27 of Huntress and the 97 of Adam Gray. And everyone else was just trying to scatter out of the way as the 27 went around. Restart lineup is correct. Field crossing back over into the columns of 2. 2 laps complete, 8 laps to go. Gabe Brown and Shaw, Pohl and Welch. Andrew Moeller in the 31. And Dylan Maltz in car number 5. Brian Wall, Brooks Clark, and Adam Gray. Cross flags in the air. Field crossing back over to the columns of 2. We'll try this one again. Lights are down on the pace car. Gabe Brown's going to reach down into his bag of tricks one more time, as now this will be restart number 4 for the 60, trying to hold off all comers. Here they come off of turn number 4. Looking for the restart, and they've got it. Green is out. This time, DJ Shaw able to stay with Gabe Brown as they head into turn 1. They're side by side through the first and second corner. It'll be Gabe Brown pulling ahead again off the second corner. Gabe Brown once again away with the lead. DJ Shaw to second. Pohl is third. Dylan Maltz on the move down low in the 5. He goes to 4th. Welch back to 5th on the outside at car number 0. 3 laps complete this time. Top 7 cars advance. On the hot seat right now, it is going to be the 77 of Brian Wall. Brian Wall, the final qualifier. Brooks Clark looking to his outside. Adam Gray right behind in car number 97. 4 laps down now for Gabe Brown. Gabe Brown in car number 60 looking to go 3 for 3 in qualifying heat races in 2023. DJ Shaw looking to get max points though, trying to slip his way around the 60 of Gabe Brown for the lead as the cross flags are in the air. This time we're halfway home. 5 complete, 5 to go for Gabe Brown in car number 60. DJ Shaw in the 04. Andrew Moeller, 31, slides back a little bit. Brian Wall in the 77, now 6th. Adam Gray, your final qualifier in the 97. Brooks Clark, the early spinner, trying to rebound. He gets by the 31 of Andrew Muller as well, as we have 4 laps remaining. Gabe Brown running a little bit higher through the center of the corners. DJ Shaw trying to put the nose underneath him that time through 1 and 2. Let's see what he does in the number 3 and number 4 corners. Brown slides high. Here comes Shaw down to the bottom. 3 laps to go. We got a new race leader. It's DJ Shaw in the 04. The AH Fence Company, Canberra 04 of DJ Shaw, the new leader. Gabe Brown in the 60 back to second pole in the 97, still third. 4th to Dylan Maltz, 5th to Quinny Welch. 6th and 7th, the 77 Brian Wall and Adam Gray in the 97 as we've got 2 to go. 2 laps to go this time for DJ Shaw in the 04. It's Gabe Brown in the 60, the 97 of pole. Adam Gray in the 97 looking for one more. Got a little bit loose that time off of turn 2. Trying to drive himself underneath the 77 of Brian Wall as the white flag is ready to fly. One more time around. Final time through 1 and 2. The lead continues to grow for DJ Shaw in the 04, the defending American Canadian Tour champion. Pulling away from Gabe Brown in the number 60. The 04, DJ Shaw off the 4th corner, down to the stripe. Shaw, your winner. Gabe Brown holds off Joey Pohl for second. Pohl gets third. 4th goes to Dylan Maltz. Quinny Welch in the 0. The 77 of Brian Wall and the 97 of Adam Gray takes down the final transfer position. So the American Canadian Tour drivers getting a little frisky there in heat number 2, battling for starting positions in the main event. And DJ Shaw picks up the checkered flag. He takes down the win. And Gabe Brown's undefeated streak in heat races ends at 2 as he scored the heat win at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway and then scored another one last weekend at Thunder Road, but he was unable to keep the streak alive despite starting on the pole in this heat race. Rolling out onto the speedway, it is going to be heat number 3 for the American Canadian Tour, 3rd and final 10-lap qualifying heat race. Starting on the pole will be Corey DiMatteo in car number 6, and to his outside, opening day winner for the American Canadian Tour, car number 03, Derek Luchacki. He has run 2 laps of practice in the Superior Rail 03 car. Number 2 point man from 1 year ago had high hopes coming into the season. They had a fire underneath the hood 1 week ago at New Hampshire at Thunder Road, and that slipped them back in the point standings, but they were looking to rebound here today, and they only got 2 laps of the first practice session before they found whatever electrical gremlin was underneath the hood. When I made my way up to the tower, the car still was not running, so they found it in the last 15 minutes, and he's ready to go. Starting in the 3rd position will be car number 66. That is Jason Corliss from Barrie, Vermont, 3-time King of the Road, and the most recent winner on the American Canadian Tour. To his outside will be car number 61. That is Ryan Olson. PJ Evans from Uncasville, Connecticut will take the 12 from next on the grid. And to his outside will be Eric Sands in car number 36. Brian Tagg in car number 9 will start from the 7th position. To his outside will be the battleship Cole Littlewood in car number 73. Woody Pitcat in car number 91. And to his outside, Jordan Hadley will start from the 10th position. On the rear will be Robert Strike in car number 9. Robert Sturk in car number 9. 10 laps. Top 7 get their handicap. Here they come off of turn 4, looking on the start, and they've got it. Green is out. Derek Luchacki in the 03, away with the lead up the outside lane. Corey DiMatteo back to 3rd on the inside as Ryan Olson slides high into the 2nd position. Eric Sands in the 36 looking to follow him through as the Fords line up in the outside groove. Corey DiMatteo fighting back on the bottom in car number 6. Lap 1, scored to Derek Luchacki in the 03. Luchacki in the 03 leads DiMatteo in car number 6, grabs 2nd. Olson on the outside back to 3rd. Here comes the 66 of Corliss as Sturk's into the wall in turn 2. Sturk up into the wall in car number 9 coming off the 2nd corner. He makes his way into the infield and we will stay green. So a tough break for Robert Sturk in car number 9. He'll get a piece of the wall. He was able to drive it away. They may be able to make repairs for the feature of that. The feature event for that car as Derek Gluchacki in the 0-3 continues to show the way. Corey DiMatteo is second in the 6. 66 Corliss. Eric Sands in the 36. PJ Evans down low in car number 12. Up high it will be 61 of Olsen sliding back. Woody Pitcat trying to move forward. Working his way by the number 9 Massachusetts of Brian Tagg. 4 laps complete. It is the 6th lap on the Speedway this weekend for Derek Gluchacki in the 0-3 as they have found some speed under the hood of that 0-3 car. The Superior Rail and Airworks Ford Mustang showing the way over Corey DiMatteo in the 6th car. And it's the Busco Worldwide Mover 66 of Jason Corliss from Barrie, Vermont, with Eric Sands right behind from Derry, New Hampshire. Cross flags are up in the air. We're halfway home. 5 laps complete, 5 laps to go. Final heat in round 1 qualifying for the American Canadian Tour Championship late models. Brian Tagg is sliding back through the field in car number 9 as to his inside comes Jordan Hadley. Hadley will slide by him as we've got 4 to go. 4 laps remaining. Final qualifier right now is the number 7 of Brian Tagg. Tagg is on the hot seat as he got back by Hadley. 3 remaining as Woody Pitcat continues to try to move forward in car number 91. Laps are winding down for Derek Gluchacki. What a bounce back story for this team. On fire a week ago at Thunder Road. The lights went out when there was a crash in turn number 2. Connor Souza was the only other car that was here for this event that did not come out on the racetrack, got a piece of the wall in turn 2 in practice. They stopped the field in the backstretch to pick that car up, and then the Gluchacki 0-3 would not come back to life, and the team scrambled, and 10 minutes before post time the car was still not running. But now as the white flag is ready to fly over heat number 3, Derek Gluchacki continues to show the way with the white flag out one more time around for Gluchacki in the 0-3. Corey DiMatteo in car number 6 is second. Third is Corliss. Fourth is Sands. Fifth to Woody Pitcat. Evans into the 12, and then the 9 of Brian Tagg as the checkered flag is ready to fly. Up the 4th corner, Derek Gluchacki will win it. Second's going to go to Corey DiMatteo. Third to Jason Corliss. Fourth to the 36 of Eric Sands. Woody Pitcat, PJ Evans, and Brian Tagg, your qualifiers. Well, that's it for qualifying for the American Canadian Tour. They will come back and round out the program tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Kyle Rickey and Mr. Ben Dodge.
All right, thank you very much, Aaron, as Derek Gluchacki makes his way back to the pit area, a 2-time winner this year, picking up a non-points win at the Hickory Motor Speedway earlier in the spring, and then just a couple of weeks ago went to Victory Lane at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and like Aaron mentioned, a nice bounce back after an incident a week ago relegated Derek to a 21st place finish at Thunder Road. So the 0-3 back in winning form here tonight. Open Modifieds are up next, and they have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 qualifying events. A huge field on hand of competitors looking to set the starting lineup for the NAPA Auto Parts Duel twin 40-lap qualifying races later tonight. Those, however, will in turn set the first 20 positions for tomorrow's NAPA Spring Sizzler.
You know, when you talk to competitors in the pit area, they'll tell you the story that they like this format. It's very unique because you get to race your way in. So there was a lot of different strategy going on. Remember, there was a tire rule in effect. You could only have X number of tires. In the case, it was 10 for the entire event. So some of the strategy is going to be put to the test. It was by luck of the draw to determine the starting positions. And as Kyle Rickey mentioned, we are having a group of 5 qualifying heats. Now, the number of laps in the qualifying event will be 8 laps for each and every one. And in our first qualifying round, it's stacked with some of the quickest cars that were located today in practice. So, Kyle, Ricky, as we wait for those cars to come onto the track for a second, I think while it's nice and quiet, we can give them the starting lineup.
Yeah, we'll jump right into it. 8 cars set to take green here in this first qualifying event. On the pole, the 00 from Middle Island, New York, the James Page Plumbing and Heating entry for our pole sitter, Craig Lutz.
Outside pole is one of the sultans of Stafford, the Dunleavy Truck and Trailer Machine. Doug Dunleavy, the owner of the LFR chassis car from Bellingham, Massachusetts, the Woodman, Woody Pitcat.
Third starter, the defending winner of this event, car number 60 from Northampton, Pennsylvania, the Florida Connection, to bring us Matt Hirschman.
Fourth starter, he was among the quickest cars in practice. The Jensen Racing Enterprises, John Jensen prepared car from Newtown, Connecticut. He's one of our own here at Stafford. Car 179 for Anthony Bello.
Fifth starter, car number 29 from Mooresville, North Carolina, the Core Race Products entry for Spencer Davis.
This man took one of the biggest paydays in the history of Stafford Speedway, and that was a while back, and that was in a different form of car. But ladies and gentlemen, he now calls his home Fisher, Indiana. Driving the Tineo Racing Enterprises, Harshaw Paving Company, number 44 Mass, would you welcome Bobby Santos III.
And to the inside of row number 4, starting 7th, it's the 28 from Woodstock, Connecticut, the Cape Towing and Salvage entry for Buddy Charette.
And starting in the scratch position, position number 8 is car number 25. This is Matt Swanson, the young and talented upcoming driver from Harvard, Mass, in Gary Casella's car, Troyer-built Casella Snowplow sponsored car. Interestingly enough, a lot of different driving things, swaps have occurred during the off-season, but there's a lot of stability there as well. But if you look back into the record books, Craig Lutz, Jimmy Page's 00, it has had a host of drivers that have had success here at Stafford. Chase Dowling put that car in the winner's circle on several occasions. Woody Pitcat has driven that car before, and Craig Lutz is a standout on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Alongside, if you had to pick a driver in the open shows here at Stafford that was the big dog from 2022, Kyle, Ricky, who would it be?
That would be Woody Pitcat. I mean, he has his own trading card this season because he won 3 in a row last summer here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Yeah, he had it figured out. He is on quite the streak and looking to pick up yet another Spring Sizzler win here tomorrow. Woody, one of the most successful drivers in the history of this racetrack in the 88 car, starting in the 2nd spot.
That's right. He's moving up in the all-time win list in the category there as well, setting high in the 2nd position. In that 3rd spot is Matt Hirschman. Matt, of course, we call him Big Money Matt, but if you were joining us for the SRX race a year ago when Matt won this race, it entitled him to be a part of the SRX event. And he didn't let us down by any stretch of the imagination. We remind you that today's event is brought to you by your local NAPA Auto Parts store, where NAPA know-how is more than a phrase, it's a way of life. Kyle, Ricky, here they come, thundering 2,600-pound rocket sleds coming onto the pavement here at Stafford for the NAPA Duels qualifying.
And speaking of Matt Hirschman, you can sponsor a lap still for tomorrow's 100-lap event. There are just a couple of laps left, and they are available for purchase at the novelty booth. They have the autographed cards. There's only 100 autographed cards that have been produced, a collectible item to remember being your part of the 51st running of the Napa Spring Sizzler. Be sure, if you haven't yet, to consider sponsoring a lap, being a part of this great race. Of course, that lap money goes directly to the drivers. I think there's only like 10 laps left or something to that effect. So they are available down at the novelty booth on the Midway.
And in addition to that, we'll be announcing your name or company name in the process as being a lap sponsor. Lights are on from the pace car provided by Wheelan Engineering. They come off turn number 4, started on the starter stand, cross flags in hand, telling them to double up. Again, the story is 8 laps, 8 circuits for the Mighty Modifieds, round number 1 of 5. 8 cars basically in each and every one of the qualifying event. Here they head into turn number 2 and down the back stretch. Lights are off on the safety vehicle. Kyle, Ricky, that means only one thing. We're about ready to unleash qualifying event number 1 for Napa Spring Sizzler action This will put some of these competitors into the duel. And here's Kyle Rickey with the call.
Here they come off of turn number 4. Lutz and Pitcat on the front row. Pace car on the pit lane. 8 laps the distance. Heat race number 1 is underway, and it's the 00 Craig Lutz that leads the field to turn number 1.
Lutz has the advantage on the inside, but they're side by side, and already it is Woody Pitcat. He runs in the tire tracks, dips to the bottom of the racetrack. Going. Will it be gone as they come off turn 4?
2015 winner of the NAPA Spring Sizzler goes to the front of the field here at the end of lap number 1 here in the opening heat race. Pitcat to the point. Lutz in second. Matt Hirschman in third. And a good battle with Anthony Bello for that spot as those two cars begin to break away just a bit. In fact, Hirschman wants to join the battle for the lead.
Hirschman does. He is usually a closer. He does not like to pressure early in an event. He's setting back in that third spot. Third is good enough to make the transfer, but not good enough to where you want to be in the start of the dual event. Meanwhile, Anthony Bellows moved into the 4th spot. Bellows running on rails. He is right there, and now rounding out the top 5, it is Santos with the Tenio, number 44.
Failing to qualify for this race a year ago, Bobby Santos the third right now in the top 5, putting himself in good position for the start of the dual qualifying races later tonight. Halfway home, 4 down, 4 to go for race leader Woody Pitcat, who draws away by about a car length and a half over Craig Lutz at the front of the field.
Craig Lutz tried to make a dip to the bottom of the racetrack. The car got down on the flat part of the track. You don't see it from the vantage of the grandstand, but it actually flattens out there. Had to pull it back in the line. Car number 00 is still setting in second. Hirschman still waiting for the curtain call in the 3rd position. Top 5, single file, and then we've got Matt Swanson, who has moved into the top 6. Spencer Davis back in 7th, and Buddy Charette in position number 8.
Here they come, 2 laps to go, no change at the point as we keep an eye on that battle for second. Now a battle for the lead with Pitcat, Lutz, and Hirschman. Here comes Anthony Bello, just a couple of car lengths back. Pitcat so good off of the corners, off of 2 and off of 4. Lutz gains that ground back, entering turns 3 and turn 1. Let's see if he can cut the ground even more as they go back to 1 for the final time.
He tries to go to the outside this time. It doesn't work. It looks like he's got one more shot at it. Lutz comes off the turn like a rocket. Pitcat pulls away. They come off turn number 4. Here comes Hirschman down in the gravel. He works his magic at the finish. It is Woody Pitcat to take down the win, car number 88. Craig Lutz to finish in 2nd. Matt Hirschman will finish in 3rd. Anthony Bello to finish in position number 4.
Then it's Bobby Santos the 3rd and 5th. Matt Swanson in 6th. Spencer Davis 7th. Buddy Charette will round out the 8 finishers. Again, we are just setting the starting lineups for the twin 40-lap NAPA Duel qualifying races later tonight. And with Woody Pitcat winning this first heat race, that means he'll be on the pole for the first of the 40-lappers later this evening.
And that is exactly where he wanted to be. He's going to be the rabbit chased by the dog in that one. Round number 2 is scheduled to come rumbling onto the racetrack, and car number 9, Connecticut, will be the S&S Asphalt Paving Start-Finish Motorsports Wicked Power Sports Machine. From Bethlehem, Connecticut, it'll be Chase Dowling.
Second starter, car number 16 from Norwalk, Connecticut, the Blue Mountain Machine and future Homes entry for one of the dual winners a year ago. It's Ron Silk.
Row number 2 to the inside. He was quick in practice. The Rick Zarnecki Best Auto number 20. Our own champion here at Stafford from Summers, Todd Owen.
Fourth starter, car number 10 from Seymour, Connecticut, the Anglaise Racing Enterprises entry for Nick Anglaise.
Fifth starter to the field will be the John and Mania Rafano machine. The Wheelers Automotive car. Car number 48. Young talent on the rise here at Stafford, Marcello Rafano.
That is the driver of car number 3, scheduled to go up next from Colchester, Connecticut, the Florida Connection providing the sponsorship for the driver of Old Blue, Brian Narducci.
Car number 24, New Jersey, is up next. That will be the Diane Krause machine, the Martino Race Engines car for Andrew Krause.
Car number 77 will round out the field from Mooresville, Connecticut. That is Gary Putnam.
So there you have it, round number 2. The story again is going to be 8 circuits around the half mile here at Stafford. If you're just joining us, we qualified the ACT cars in some great competition there. as a banner field of those cars came here to Stafford. 34 went to the test in qualifying, and here we are in the second qualifying round for the Tour Type Modifieds. In excess of 40 cars assembled in the paddock area. Different deal in the front row. Chase Dowling, brand new team and crew he has for 2023. And outside of him, of course, is Ronnie Silk. The man that's so hot on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour circuit with Bill Moran, who's prepared race car. Winning the drag race, it is Chase Dowling. But let's see what's going to happen down the back straightaway. Kyle, it looks like we're already seeing some 2x2 racing for the third spot.
Yeah, Todd Owen right now under fire off of turn number 4 for third position, and that'll be Marcello Rafrano that went to his inside to take that spot away. So Rafrano up to 4th. Owen backsliding a bit and backsliding into traffic with Andrew Krause, Nick Anglace, and Brian Narducci.
We've got a lead change. It's Ronnie Silk. He just went to the inside, and he just went on by. Meanwhile, Marcello Rafano, he's showing why he's not just a young, talented driver, but he is considered one of the best. When you run that close and with Chase Dowling, bonsai move into turn number 3, it is Marcello Rafano up to second. Dowling gets shuffled back to the third spot. A little further back in the field, Todd Owen being worked over heavily by Brian Narducci. Kind of like days of old, Kyle Ricky.
Narducci goes to the inside for that 5th spot, and right now Owen stuck in that outside lane. May fall another position to Gary Putnam in the 77. Halfway home, 4 down, 4 to go. Ron Silk out front and simply driving away now by 0.6 of a second at the front of the field.
There's no question about it. Silk has got a rocket. Marcello Rafano is right there, but not close enough to be within striking distance. Then it is Andrew Krause who is now closing up the gap on Chase Dowling, the S&S paving machine, the Wicked Power Sports car. Further back in the field, side-by-side battle. Car number 10 comes to life from Nick Anglace as he's in a battle with Todd Owen. Twirling twos are in the air, 2 circuits to go.
For Ron Silk at the point, car number 16, still about 0.6 over Marcello Rafrano, who finally picked up that first SK Modified win a year ago in one of the division's biggest races, the SK 5K. He's in the second spot. Then it's going to be Chase Dowling in third. Andrew Krause now closing in from 4th.
It's not over with yet. There's less than a half a mile to go into the record books. Meanwhile, Ronnie Silk just turns up the wick. He just pulls away. Quickest car on the racetrack, turning the quickest laps. 18:175 was among the quickest laps. Here comes the checker. Ronnie Silk will take down the win. Marcello Rafano in for second. Chase Dowling will finish in the third spot, and Andrew Krause will round out the top 4.
Brian Narducci will finish in 5th, then Gary Putnam, Todd Owen, and Nick Anglace. And again, a big thank you for everyone joining us on our Facebook stream, and hope you enjoyed our quick look in, our sneak peek of all the activity here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Going to be a busy night and a busy week.